Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shanna Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology coach, and personalized learning coordinator for my district.
And I'm her producer and husband and handyman, Fuzz. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. It finally feels like winter.
It does. We got snow. We built a
snow
Snowranosaurus Rex in our backyard today.
Yep, it's pretty cute.
Thanks.
It's got little arms.
It's got little arms.
It's pretty amazing.
Big old tail.
Yeah, so this is like our last episode of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Because our next episode always falls right after the first of the year.
Yeah, we don't want to, we don't
take a little holiday
want
break
you
here.
to have to listen to something, work related on
Not
break.
that you ever feel like you have to listen, but
of course,
this way you can catch up on episodes that you've missed, or
right.
You can pull up old episodes and you're like, oh, hey, I want to relearn that tech tool now that we're shifting to virtual.
This is what I recommend.
Learning.
And since we, don't get paid for this podcast, it doesn't really matter too much. This is what I recommend. I recommend not doing anything over your break. Don't listen to the podcast. Don't listen to old episodes. Shut off
all your technology.
Turn off your computer. Turn off your notifications on your emails from parents and admin, and just enjoy some time and decompress, and you can get back at her on January 2nd or whatever that
I like
Monday
how you
is.
say that like that actually happens. I feel like I
was talking directly to you.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I usually shut down for like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And then there's in between things, because now is like the time it's time to catch up. So there's reading to be done, and there's stuff to be created, and there's not other things going on. So then you can do that stuff.
You need breaks too,
Yes, this is true. We all do. So anyway, this week we are on episode 76, which is just crazy to me. But 76, it's not 75. We don't have any football numbers. We have 76 trombones.
Actually, so my senior year I was number 76 because
76 trombones.
Is
that how the song goes?
76 trombones?
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually,
you're like, no, I care more about my football number.
It was junior year I was 76 because there was a senior that was 75, and then I got it back my senior year. So
nice
drama.
Yeah.
So
episode
Eduardo
76.
Alvarez, that was his name.
Oh my goodness. We are talking about...
Fun fact, then he bought my parents' house like 10 years ago. It's growing up in a small
Anything
town.
Else? Yep. Mm-hmm.
No, I got nothing.
Our focus?
Just want to relate to our listeners who really just want to hear about tech tools, and I just want to mumble on about the glory days. I can throw this football over that mountain over there.
Great. Yeah. So
presentation stuff.
Okay. So Moovly
Moovly
is our focus this week, and other presentation tool updates. So usually the podcast is based around either things I'm doing with other staff, or like what's up and coming, or what I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. Well, we are doing presentations around my room this week, and while I do love a Google tool, sometimes we say, hey, no Google allowed, and then everyone freaks out, and I'm like, hey guys, this is how we learn to use our brains in other ways and create in different ways, and it teaches flexibility, and they have lots of choices. So I gave them some choices this week, and while giving them choices, we also were talking about some of the upgrades that have been made to other presentation tools that I've used in the past. So we're going to talk about some of the updates that have happened, and then also Moovly, which is our first website that we are going to be talking about today. And Moovly is cool. If you haven't experienced Moovly before, it's kind of a setup similar, I don't know, it's a presentation tool that kind of creates them into videos, I guess a little like Powtoon. And also the setup where you're adding pictures and sound and all that kind of stuff. The setup is similar to WeVideo. So it kind of combines the two of them with a presentation tool and loads everything together for you.
Cool.
They have a nice setup for teachers and for students where you can, like, they have an education setup and it's free. If you want, again, they have like where you can upgrade and pay then for stuff, but you can use it free and you don't have to put in a credit card or anything like that. So
Cool.
you're allowed to use it. And so you go to Moovly. It's moovly.com. And they give you your little like sign in and you can pick and choose like what you're interested in. And you have your little dashboard that houses all of your projects, which is cool. And then when you go to create a project, they give you all kinds of templates to start from. You can start from scratch, but then you also can start from their templates. And they have all kinds of backgrounds and music. And if you start from a template, they have it all set up where it's like this music like bebops along to the words and the pictures and the images as you drop them in, and it's all cutesy. And you can do yours completely from scratch, or you can do it with their templates, which is kind of cool. Especially if you have students that you have some that of course want to like do everything from scratch and make it completely their own, and others that are like they need the you want the content there, but they don't need to focus on, they need more of the template stuff. So when you go into Moovly, you can pick your template. And then if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, they have like all the clips. So they're the pre-made like little video pieces that you can drop in. And they have different backgrounds that you can swap out. They have images you can drop in, and it's just like a scroll through all kinds of choices to add in. They have little video clips too. So along with it being a video itself, then it also can add like little other images in and little videos in and things like that. If you want to go through and add, you have your text. So across the top, it's a lot, it's a basic toolbar. So you've got text, you have shapes, you can adjust and add, duplicate things, and add graphs and add different things in there. What's kind of cool is that if you do come across stuff that is paid, it'll say, sorry, paid. Versus I know other sites, you'll load it all in and then they'll say, oh, you use some paid content, and you don't know which one's the paid stuff and which one's not. So it does forewarn you if you get into this is
how
paid.
we tricked you.
Yes, they do forewarn you about that, which is nice. Just like you can add subtitles with Google Translate in here, but that's a part of the paid thing. So just be aware of that. But yeah, you can search through their library of stuff. They have cartoons. Then they have like things specific to business or doodles, or they have stock media. You also have to be aware that they have iStock in there, but again, some of it's paid.
Sure.
So something to be aware of. What's cool across the site on the bottom is set up kind of like WeVideo, if you're familiar, where you have your timeline of your video and then the different layers across the bottom, so you can see where the music's playing, where each word drops in, because it's going to be, if you're using just text into your little video, it'll say the different words and where they drop in on the timeline, which is cool. Like where your bulleted points show up, and then they have little folders and you can see all of the bits and pieces, and you can adjust everything in your movie, not just each slide. So it's kind of a cool way to put together a presentation. It's animated, it looks really professional, and there's all kinds of things that you can add, and then you can lock and delete and adjust all of those things. So I definitely think probably older students would benefit, like middle school and up, just because there's a lot of moving components to it. But yeah, and you can adjust your video size and then your different backgrounds, and then what type of projects, if you want specific video, or you can shift it to a presentation where it's just slides, and it will kind of pause along the way, which is really cool. And you can save it to your YouTube account and it's set up and ready to go.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's really a cool site for presentations, and user friendly, and they have little videos that show you how everything works, and it's cool. I don't know, it's a fun way to create a presentation that's a little different, and it looks professional really quickly. And I know the students have fun creating with Moovly. So check out Moovly for your next presentation. Teachers can use it. Students can use it. There's a lot of things that you can do with it.
Great.
So it's kind of fun.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Moovling right around. What's that?
Yeah. I would say, have you done any fun presentations lately? But
we typically don't use Prezi.
You do or don't?
We do not.
Oh.
Which I believe we mentioned in episode 37 on this fine podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We normally do not use Prezi. However, we had a special case for using it,
mm-hmm.
and we used both an Illustrator and Prezi to put it together, and it turned out so cool.
Nice.
It was for a nonprofit that we work with, so it was pretty slick deal. So,
nice.
So yeah, that would be
your last presentation of fun things.
Yeah, currently we're arguing internally about
Google Slides.
Google Slides, yeah. So
I feel like we talked about this last week, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Google
The
Slides.
battle continues.
Yes. Nice. So, besides Moovly.
Yes.
Because we're moving along.
Moving right along.
There's two presentation sites that we have talked about in the past that have done some upgrades.
Yep.
And updates since we talked about them
New features.
New features. Oh, yeah. There's different things. So we talked about, we'll start with Haiku Deck.
Haiku Deck
we talked about back in episode 37, I think, when we talked about Prezi. And like I was explaining before, it was a very just like straightforward, create a slide deck. It's all loaded, do. It's all together.
Yeah.
Well, Haiku Deck has upped their game. They still have the same deal where it's you can create 3 decks for free and then move on from there. Then you got to pay. But they also have now Try Zuru. So if you go to the Haiku Deck site, and it's Try Zuru.
Okay. Zuru, like guru with a Z.
Yeah. And it's called Haiku Deck Zuru.
Okay.
And what it does is it creates your presentations using artificial intelligence.
Oh.
So you can load in like the text, like the topic you want and your information.
Mm-hmm.
And then their nifty little like technology will gather your information, or you can set up like an outline, and then it will gather your stuff and then drop it all into a presentation for you and create it based on like the images will match your text.
Yeah.
And it will go through your ideas and put them into a presentation and make it all professional based on like data on presentations and what people find to be effective during a presentation.
Nice.
So yeah, so they've added some upgrades and you can play around with that. And just in a regular Haiku Deck, they've definitely swapped out like colors, where they have like smart layouts, so your color schemes are put together. They have all kinds of cool backgrounds you can pick from.
Yeah.
And load in.
It says they have tens of millions of common license
Yeah.
stock photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of just way cool things. And you can import from PowerPoint or outlines. And they're continuing to upgrade and update this new.
So essentially you could like build your PowerPoint quickly and then
like slap your
upload it.
information to your slides, upload it, and then it'll make it beautiful.
They'll design it for you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
that's
again,
pretty cool.
you get 3 free ones. But just something cool to check out if you haven't used Haiku Deck before. It'd be worth playing around with. And if you want to try it out, I suggest you do. I was playing around with it some more. I was like, wow, this is definitely upped its game since last time I talked about it, and I have students that use it. And what came up with was one of my students was like, "Hey, the free one isn't here," and then I was like, "That's weird. It's always been there." And then we looked for it, and I'm like, "Oh, that's because it's got like a new free version that's not really a free version. The new free, like the upgrade for the free that you can use in your before you have to pay for it." But anyway, so Haiku Deck Zuru is cool, and Haiku Deck itself has definitely upgraded since we talked about it. So
yeah, that's cool. And they currently you can't go from Google Slides, but you could export to PowerPoint and then
or just upload an outline.
There you go.
Yep.
But yeah, that'd be cool. If they're listening, you guys, if you could just like plug in the Google Slides, that would be really cool too.
Yes. And it says more updates coming, so maybe that's coming down just a little different.
Maybe that Keynote on the Mac and stuff. Yeah.
So
I like it.
Check it out. It's pretty sweet.
That's pretty neat. I'm gonna have to play around with that.
Yes. As I talk about the next thing.
Haiku Deck. Yes, I'm not going to play around with it now because I want to watch the video, and I'm not going to do that while we're podcasting. That would be unprofessional.
So yeah, all right. So that was my little
game.
update. Nice. My little update for Haiku Deck.
Yes.
And then the other thing I want to talk about update with was Emaze, which is something I use a lot in my classroom, and my students use often. And we haven't talked about it since episode 2, way back in the day. Yeah. And Emaze.
It was 84 years ago.
I know, the kids are so funny. They're like, it's because it's so amazing, Mrs. Martin. I'm like, good job,
It's a good
guys.
name. I'd say it's a good name.
Yeah. It's a good name. So, Emaze.
Look at that.
Fantastic.
Zuru competitor here.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
That's fine. So Emaze, we're highlighting all the things that everybody can use. You can pick and choose which tools work best for you, right? That's what I always talk about. So Emaze, again, talked about in episode 2, but it's definitely done a lot of upgrades for free. And so like it's a cool way to create presentations, but then you can also do websites, blogs, e-cards, and photo albums all in Emaze. There's a lot of options. The e-cards are kind of fun. I was thinking about I have one aunt that sends her Jackie Lawson e-cards.
Yes.
Which I absolutely adore.
Like the Flash player.
And it's so cool because she's been sending them forever, and it's like her thing.
She signs in the AOL.
It's so cute. I love it. And I don't ever see her, so it's like the one way we communicate. But I always want to like bust out a cool e-card from Emaze and then send it back to her, but I'm like not sure. I'm sure she'll get it, but I don't know if she'll know. I mean, she'd probably figure out how to open it and everything, but I always want to be like, oh, I want to upgrade her e-cards for her. It's just very sweet. Anyway, so.
Can't save everybody, Shanna.
So we want to create, you go to the home screen and you get like a bunch of choices, click presentation or a website or anything. But what's cool about Emaze is they already have, it's really easy for students to use. So there's not a lot of like hunting and clicking to try and find things. It's like straightforward, create, choose a template, and then there's a bunch of categories on the left-hand side, and they can scroll through and pick templates, and they're fun. And they've got some new cool templates, which I thought was, as we were trolling through the other day, they have a virtual classroom one now. Oh. So it looks like you're walking through a classroom and you go from smartboard to smartboard. Oh. It's really cool.
That's cool.
They have, there's like some cool comic book ones. There's one like driving down the road. They have an old school chalkboard one, but even for elementary teachers, they have like Animal Farm Fun, and they have the ocean. And the ocean one is cool because you can like go through the ocean, but it also makes like water sounds in the background of it, which is kind of cool. But if you're studying like an oceans unit, you're presenting to students. What a cool way to start off a unit or a lesson, if you're going to give them vocab or information anyway, it's very easy to put together.
Do you think requests for bathroom passes go up when you have ocean sounds playing in the classroom?
It very well could be possible. Yes, because it is like water in the background, which is funny. I've had kids like, I want to turn the water on. I'm like, we're talking about presidents here. This has nothing to do with like choose your template that fits the category.
Yes.
But there's like a cool superhero one. You get to fly through the city. They're like, oh, this could be like Gotham City. Anyway, so there's lots of cool templates, very straightforward. The video, like they're already, the transitions and everything are already in. You literally just put your content in and your images in, and you have a professional looking presentation very quickly.
Cool.
So we've talked about it before. I just want to highlight there's some really cool new templates and options you can choose with it. Presentations, again, websites, blogging, e-cards, photo albums. There's a lot to play around with. And there's a lot of new cool options with it. So it is worth checking out.
Check it out.
There are a lot of cool things.
Yeah, so they've got their build presentations automatically. So is that the Zuru competitor?
It probably. I mean, I'm sure they'd be similar.
I don't know. Just kind of cool. But they've got a lot of other things with like websites and e-cards and
right. And they also have emaze.me. And then you have like those connections too, where it's kind of like their social.
They should have called it
social media stuff.
Emaze.
And that's in beta right now. Yeah. So it's a cool way to present and easy for kids to put things together and look professional. And it's fun to watch for the rest of the class. Everyone stays engaged.
Right.
Because the presentations are usually pretty interesting.
They're pretty amazing.
They're pretty amazing. Yay.
I wonder if they have a rule at Emaze. Like, my company's called Epic, and we try not to use the word epic in things. So epic. I wonder if there's a rule at the Emaze company about not using Emaze as a pun. I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure that epic gets used as a pun anyway.
Well, we prefer not to.
Except for it happens all the time.
Yes, because we're very punny.
You are. So I just want to share some cool things. Again, Moovly and the upgrades to Haiku Deck and Emaze, and use them well, have some fun, create some fun presentations, and then go take a break.
Yes, exactly. Actually, like as we head in the holidays, like having a presentation done automatically makes life easy.
Yeah. You could put your whole family's Christmas card on a presentation and then share it out digitally, and it'll play for all of your families and all of your friends, and you'll have sent out an e-card and
take some time, put together all the good things that happened to you in 2020 and throw it into an outline and have it
made for you.
Auto-populate so you don't have to do any more work.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Nice. Well, on that note, episode 76, we're out.
In the books.
We're out.
Yes.
And we will be back in January.
Yeah, we'll be back in January, which will be the start of our third year of doing this. It will be.
I always think it's fun that our podcast seasons
start at the beginning of the year.
Start at the beginning of the year, but just they actually end at the school year.
Yeah. Well, it's because we didn't start the first season at the beginning of the year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kind of like our relationship.
Yes.
Because
we started on January 1st.
We started dating on January 1st.
Look at that.
2010.
Mm-hmm. Look at you.
Look at that.
Good job. Nice.
11 years coming up. Happy anniversary.
On that note, thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, you can visit smartnwi.com or hang out with us on Facebook. New episodes each week or after the first of the year. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
We should start a TikTok. The ideas and opinions expressed in this podcast and the Smart NWI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed on this podcast, please consult with employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that we